So the government is micromanaging the way live streamers dress and talk in their live streams. So it seems like the Chinese government has gone into full paranoid mode, and they are squeezing the life out of their economy. So Taiwan's economy is booming, and it goes to show what many people have said all along. A healthy economy comes from healthy competition. China cracking down on free speech and free competition is killing their economy, and in the long term is going to kill their country. Hi, thank you for watching Jason Adam TV on YouTube. If you haven't, please click subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and leave comments in the comment section below. Okay, today I'm going to talk about China's continuing crackdown on tech and its own billionaires. So China is continuing to stifle its businesses and try to discourage them from offering initial public offerings on American stock markets. And so I saw an article dated August 19th, 2021 in ABC News. This is ABC, Australian Broadcasting Company News. Is written by business reporter David Chow. And it points out what the article points out what I've talked about before, the crackdown on tech billionaires, including Jack Ma, who at one point was the richest person in China, but has now lost tens of billions of dollars. The article also points out what I talked about before. Beijing's crackdown on tech giants has wiped out more than $1 trillion from the value of these stocks. So, according to the article, since Jack Ma's fall from grace, Beijing has cracked down on more than 30 companies in its booming technology sector. Tech giants like Tencent, JD, Meituan, Didi, Baidu, and many others have been caught in the firing line. These are China's biggest companies and are the local equivalents of Amazon, Facebook, Google, and Uber. According to Angela Zhang, a Chinese legal expert at Hong Kong University, without Jack Ma's speech, the regulators first would not be so infuriated, and they would not take this bold step of reporting the whole matter to its top leaders. Of course, she is referring to the speech that Jack Ma made last year regarding the Chinese government. It was a speech that was critical of the Chinese government. And of course, last October he disappeared, and he is still in hiding. Angela Zhang, the Chinese legal expert, also points out, however, these kinds of regulatory tensions have been there for a really long time. China's regulation of its tech sector had been relatively lax before this point. This helped to fuel the rapid rise of those companies and their dominance in the lives of their consumers. The businesses facing the greatest risks are the consumer-facing companies, which have the most exposure to the masses, where the chief executive's power and influence rival that of the ruling Chinese Communist Party. According to Richard McGregor, a China expert and senior fellow at the Lowy Institute, one thing that Xi Jinping does not want are alternative centers of power to be created. He said is what happened in Russia after the collapse of the Soviet Union in the 1990s. So many Chinese tech firms have tried to list their shares on Wall Street, where it's tougher for Beijing to regulate that money. They are now being penalized for alleged breaches of competition law, which happened long ago. Internet giant Tencent, which owns the WeChat social media app, was a high-profile casualty of Beijing's recent crusade. Its shares are listed in Hong Kong, while its related entity, Tencent Music, is listed in the U.S. In mid-July, regulators blocked a merger between Douyu and Huya, two of China's biggest live streaming video game sites, which Tencent owns stakes in. If the merger had been allowed to proceed, Tencent would have attained a majority stake in the combined businesses. To make matters worse, the company also copped a 500,000 yen penalty for its anti-competitive behavior, and particularly its takeover of streaming company China Music back in 2016. So there for a while the Chinese government was rather lax in dealing with tech companies. Now the Communist Party feels threatened by the power of these companies to influence the Chinese people, and they are cracking down. The Communist Party is cracking down on these businesses. What this means for investors is investors are losing money. Like I mentioned before, almost $1 trillion of value has been wiped out in Chinese stocks recently. The article also mentions Didi, which is like the Chinese version of Uber. The Chinese government warned Didi not to go public, not to issue an IPO in the U.S. The company didn't listen, and they had a very successful IPO in the U.S. But retribution came swiftly as China suspended Didi's app from the nation's mobile stores, causing its share price to tank. It was also accused of illegally collecting data from its users, and the company promptly waved the white flag. So Didi gave in to the Chinese government. So China is using the excuse of protecting Chinese consumers' data, as well as trying to level the playing field in China. They point out that there are social problems in China brought about by the great divide between the rich and the poor in China. And so the Communist Party is saying we're going to redistribute the wealth in order to make it more equal. But this is ultimately going to tank their economy, because what investor in the right mind is going to invest in a Chinese company when their assets could be seized by the Communist Party the day after they invest? This is ultimately going to be the downfall of the Chinese economy, and the economic data coming out of China shows that the brakes are already on the economy. Their economy is slowing down, and it's because of this overzealous regulation of the tech sector and companies that have listed on the U.S. stock market by the Communist Party. It's very ironic when the Communist Party says that they want to protect the data of Chinese consumers when they themselves keep huge databases of information about their own citizens and use that information against their own citizens. So this is an excuse. The Chinese Communist Party is making up excuses to try to justify their paranoid behavior with their tech companies. So yeah, they're willing to tank their economy to hold on to power. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to stifle creativity, it's going to stifle investment in China, and ultimately it's going to hurt the citizens of China. In another article, the Chinese government is even trying to micromanage live streaming stars, people who live stream from within China. So I saw this article in Reuters. The article is dated August 18th, 2021. It says, hosts in China's live streaming industry should speak Mandarin and dress appropriately when they market products online, the country's Commerce Ministry said on Wednesday, as it looks to tighten its oversight of the sector. Live streaming marketing has seen its popularity surge in the last 2 years among brands like L'Oreal, Nike, Dyson, and online shoppers. And most Chinese e-commerce platforms now offer the option to purchase and sell products via live streaming. It became the target of scrutiny last year, with some shoppers and brands accusing live streamers of misrepresenting products or faking sales numbers, prompting China's cyberspace regulator to announce draft rules in November. So China's Ministry of Commerce published more detailed guidelines and for the first time mentioned a preferred language for live streamers. Mandarin is the official language in China, but there are also many dialects and ethnic minority languages in the country. According to the Ministry of Commerce in China, they said it is better to use Mandarin during live streaming. In a section about how live streamers are expected to behave. The new rules, which are up for public review until September 2nd, also said live streamers should dress in a way that is inoffensive to their audience and carry an image reflecting the characteristics of the products or services they try to sell. So the government is micromanaging the way live streamers dress and talk in their live streams. So it seems like the Chinese government has gone into full paranoid mode, and they are squeezing the life out of their economy. They're squeezing out the creativity. Another article I read earlier mentioned that that China is even trying to seize retirement accounts of Hong Kongers who move overseas. It was reported recently that almost 90,000 Hong Kongers fled the city last year ostensibly in order to escape persecution due to the new national security law that was passed in China that has been used to crack down on free speech in Hong Kong. So yeah, 90,000 people fled Hong Kong last year. Now China is trying to stop the people who have moved overseas from accessing their retirement accounts. What's that going to do to the young people, the people who are just starting out in their careers in Hong Kong? Of course, they're going to run away as soon as possible, because if they stay and decide to move overseas in the future, their retirement assets could be seized. So China and Hong Kong are going to see a huge brain drain of people fleeing so that their assets cannot be seized by the Chinese government. It's counterintuitive, is counter business. It's ridiculous. Okay, in contrast, Taiwan's economy is doing great. Taiwan, of course, is a democracy. It practices capitalism, and so there is free competition between businesses in Taiwan. According to Reuters, a Reuters article dated August 19th, 2021, Taiwan July export orders seen rising for the 17th straight month. Taiwan's export orders likely rose in July for the 17th consecutive month, a Reuters poll showed on Thursday, buoyed by strong, sustained demand for technology products during lockdowns as millions of people work from home or take classes remotely. The median forecast from a poll of 12 economists expects export orders to jump 20.85% from the year-ago period. Forecasts for growth range from 14 to 30%. Huge growth. Taiwan's export orders are a leading indicator of demand for high-tech gadgets and Asia's exports, and typically lead actual exports by 2 to 3 months. The island's June export orders, a bellwether of global technology demand, leapt 31.1% year-on-year to $53.73 billion US dollars. Taiwan's manufacturers, such as the world's largest contract chip maker, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company Limited, are a key part of the global supply chain for technology giants, including Apple Incorporated. The data for July will be released today, Friday. So Taiwan's economy is booming. And it goes to show what many people have said all along. A healthy economy comes from healthy competition. China cracking down on free speech and free competition is killing their economy. And in the long term is going to kill their country. They are shooting themselves in the foot. And I think we're going to see them reap the benefits of what they've done in the near future. The scary thing is that they might attempt to start a war in order to divert attention away from themselves and their failings. They're failing by micromanaging their companies. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, enough pressure will be put on China through its catastrophic clampdowns on its businesses that they will have to open up and become more free, at least when it comes to business. Thank you for watching Jason Adam TV. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Bye-bye.